I show you first the graphic events. You have the different possibilities of graphics here. For example, you can add a text, you can add a very simple rectangle here. And each graphic, of course, is synchronized between the different views. And when you change a graphic in a view, it changes in the other views. And for each graphic, you have different properties. Some of them, the layer I will show you after. You can change, of course, the color of your graphic. You can have a transparent graphic with opacity here, for example. It's possible. You can have gradient color. In next versions, you can add texture color, and you can add image in mosaic into the graphics in transparency. It's possible. Of course, you can change the border of your graphic, the color of this border. And for the rectangle, I can have a corner, a round corner, or or not. I can rotate the shape. I need to change that because it's inverse. And you can add a shadow on your shape here. Each graphic event contains two parts, the background and the foreground. Here is the background, and in the foreground you can add a text. And here you have a text tab, and I can add here a text I want. I can have a text, an elastic text, which follow the size of the form, or I can have static text with a specific size. Of course, I can change the font of this text. I have the old font in Macintosh. And if I decide to have the text with a specific size, I can change different alignment possibilities, of course, here. And of course, the color, if I want. Here is for the rectangle. Other graphic events, text is like rectangle but without a background. Ellipse is like rectangle. I can add a line. To edit a line or polygon, you double click and then, oops, oh, it's a bug. Beautiful bug. Double click on this line and you can change the different point of the line. You can, for the line, of course, add endpoints. For example, you can have arrow in here and a bracket, if you want. You can change, of course, the type of line here. Other graphic events, line. You can add image, of course, here, and the software asks you for an image. For example, it's not very good, but it's a CD jacket. The image can be transparent, possible. And you can add different polygons. You have different types of polygons here. You can drag and drop the polygons. And you can edit the different points of the polygons by double click and change the position of the point. You can add point by Alt key, and then I add an ooh. Oh, another bug. Then I add a point here, another here. You can delete point by control, and you can change in each point independently to a Bezier point. It's possible with command key and click on the point, and then you have access to the two control points for the Bezier form. Of course, you can draw directly a Bezier form if you want. It's this object, and the software explains you how to do your form. It's very simple. You click to draw the different point, and click on AHRC key to close the polygon. You can also draw directly with this object, if you want. And after you can change the type of line if you want. No, the type of line doesn't work here. The color, etc. It's a very common tool to draw different graphics. Here is the graphic elements, but you can also add analytic elements. It's here. For the moment, there are only 3 types of analytic elements. For example, I use the functions by Stéphane Roy, and I have the different categories here, and I can drag directly the graphic here, and I have directly the graphic here. All type of graphic for this system is represented, of course, for example, articulation, etc. This part for the moment is closed, but in next version, in release version, you can create your own analytic elements and share with other users. And in this version, you cannot see, but behind the different analytic elements, you can add analytic parameter to characterize, for example, the morphology, the dynamic, or all you want. There is another possibility to add analytic element because for the function, the list is good. It's good. Of course, I miss something. For the moment, the interface is not really good, but on the bottom you have the two buttons and one button to have help on these categories of analytic elements. The help can be linked to internet or an internal file in HTML, or an internal or different file in HTML with image, with sounds. Then you can add example of sounds for each categories if you want. It's possible. Not in this version, but in final version it will be with this system. For the functions, this representation is good, but maybe for other functions, for example, for the sound objects by Pierre Couprie, translated by John Dack, the list is not very good to understand this sound object. Then I add new possibilities. You select the categories, and in the bottom, for the moment in the bottom, you have an image button, and then you can directly have an image. And if you create your own categories, you can add your own image, and then you can directly add the categories from the image, directly on your representation. Then it's the two possibilities to add the different analytic events. When you work on graphic events or on analytic events, each analytic event is also a graphic event. Then you can change after the different properties of this analytic event if you want. Of course, I can change the color, etc. And all graphic events have a layer. You draw on layer like graphic software like Photoshop or Illustrator. Then I can decide to have this event on layer 1 and this event on layer 2. Then after, when I click on View here, I can decide on the bottom to view, to show or hide the different layers independently. Of course, you can change the name of the layers, you can add other layer. By default, you have 5 layers here, but you have a button to edit the different layers and to change the name, to add a new layer or to delete a layer. It's possible. Just okay. It's okay for that. You have different tools to group different events. It's on the toolbar to group or to ungroup events. You have also a library to save your graphic events or your analytic events. In this version, the library doesn't work very good, and I don't show you. Don't show you. But in next version, it will work better. I hope. I want to show you other possibilities. Yes, I missed something. When you have different objects like that, of course, it's not the right object for this work. I can display, if I change just here, like that, it's better.